Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, August 7th, 8:45 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A CME launched earlier today is headed towards Earth. A glancing blow should make impact on the 9th or 10th, resulting in G2 geomagnetic storm. That's the forecast. And a 5.2 earthquake rattles an area near Bakersfield, California. Holy macaroni. Keep calm. It's boom time. Tropical storm Debbie is creeping along before making a South Carolina landfall overnight. It doesn't look like the storm is going to increase to a hurricane, but is lingering at high status at tropical storm. Keep calm as the flood threat to spread from the Carolinas to the Northeast, including New England. Multiple motorists have been rescued from flooded roadways in New Jersey and New York. Holy macaroni.
Morning, Morgan.
Good morning to you, Michael. And as Debbie approaches, we are looking at a 1-2 punch of widespread damage and flash flooding. Here's what I mean. Overnight, this massive tree came crashing down on these cars, just barely swiping and missing these homes on the other side of the street. Thankfully, no one was injured. But boy, did we see a round of severe weather overnight across New Jersey. Heavy rain triggering flash flooding, cars stranded, knee-deep floodwaters over in Inglewood. Several water rescues there. New York's Henry Hudson Parkway swamped. Rescue crews working to unclog storm drains. And then New York City officials, for the first time, using a drone to blast out emergency alerts. But the big concern this morning is that the ground will be so saturated by the time that Debbie's remnants do roll through that any big gust of wind can easily take down massive trees like what you see right behind me. But we're certainly on the lookout for that, along with another round of severe flooding, as Ginger pointed out. Lindsay?
That uprooted tree says it all. All right, Morgan, thank you.
Here we can see the current position of Debbie and the advisory number 22A popping up just moments ago. Maximum sustained winds at 60 miles per hour. And here is the key message. Heavy rainfall across portions of the Carolinas is expected to persist through Thursday, along with areas of considerable flooding. Expected heavy rainfall will also result in considerable flooding impacts across portions of the mid-Atlantic states and the Northeast through Saturday morning. The good news is that the flash flooding potential is moving to the north and away from the southeast. A huge swath here with at least 70% chance of flash flooding from Roanoke south all the way to Wilmington. Holy macaroni. And we can also see a moderate flash flooding warning moving all the way up through the Northeast from Burlington, Vermont, through Syracuse, New York, central Pennsylvania, down through Elkins, Maryland. Holy macaroni, that is a huge swath. This is going to continue over the next 3 days. Did you hear about this? Watch the glacial outburst that sent a surge of water into Juneau, Alaska, causing unprecedented flooding, destroying over 100 homes. Look at the scene here. High water around homes and neighborhoods following an outburst of flooding from a lake dammed by the Mendenhall Glacier on Tuesday in Juneau, Alaska. And here's the time lapse. You can see the filling up of that lake. Dangerous with the ice dam. And then the release here on the 2nd and the 3rd. Boom. It just goes straight down. That is catastrophic outburst flooding. Absolutely fantastic. All the links will be below. A quick look at the 18Z GFS model shows the current position of that tropical storm right there. And it looks like it's going to be lingering for the next 3 hours and then rapidly move onshore. 3 hours from there, it's going to move its way up through the Carolinas and up through Pennsylvania and off into Maine. It's insane. By Saturday, and it will be gone. Good news. We can also see the pattern in the Four Corners with the monsoon continuing to kick up, and that's going to bring much-needed precipitation to our region. Let's take a look at the total accumulated precipitation, and we can see how some of those flooding rains from Tropical Storm Debbie will accumulate here, and it's only looking like a few localized areas of 6 to 9 inches of rain potentially, which is way better than 30 inches. So there you go. That is the precipitation forecast through the center, middle August there, and it's looking like our region is going to be picking up 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches, which is good news. Here's the full forecast. Excessive rainfall along the mid-Atlantic into the northeast. Excessive heat concerns as well. Tropical moisture from Tropical Storm Debbie will track northward with excessive rainfall and potential from the Carolinas and eventually into the northeast corridor. Gusty winds will accompany the track of Debbie as the storm tracks northward through the first half of the weekend. Meanwhile, heat and fire weather concerns for the intermontane west continue, and those warnings are up in pink and even pinker. A 5.2 earthquake strikes near Bakersfield. It shook homes, broke windows, woke people up from their sleep, for goodness sakes, and even shut down Interstate 5 with a boulder right in the middle of it. Take a look at that. A large boulder fell into the 5 freeway in the Grapevine area on August 6th due to that 5.2 rumbler, which we can see here. A 5.2 followed by literally hundreds of aftershocks, which is the normal condition as a geologist would ensue. If you get a 5.2, you should be looking at 100 aftershocks in the 4 magnitude. And that's about what we see here. This is a case example of an earthquake. Nothing more. Worldwide, we've got a slight uptick. Interesting rumbler here, 5.1 in Bolivia at Blot Echo. Could be seeing a larger quake up near the surface anytime soon. We also have a 4.5 in Afghanistan. Could be a nuclear bomb. Anyone who knows? Who knew? Now you do. And a 3.4 frac quake in Oklahoma. Overall, low-level activity as we're waiting for the Reykjanes Peninsula to erupt. And seismicity, we had a small cluster of quakes earlier today. Let's refresh this. Yes, nothing going on, completely silent. And the silence is always precluded by the next eruption. Worldwide volcano news. Suanos Himo to 7,000 foot today. Nevado de Ruiz puffing and passing. Ibu to 8,000. Liwatobi to 8,000. Semaru to 15. Take a look at this. Nishoshima volcano in Japan. New images confirm ongoing discolored water. What does it mean? Does it mean everyone on the island is going to die? Well, no one is there. So that's good news. But something is afoot at Nishoshima. Sakodajima on the list, 10,000 foot puff today. Fuego puffing. Sabankai to 22,000 feet. Sangay to 18,000 foot. Raventador, 14,000 foot puff. Liwatobi to 10. And here we see the top of Etna. New imaging has showing a new cone has formed within the Vortigine crater following the latest paroxysm. Ibu puffing to 8,000 foot. Fuego to 15,000 foot today. Semaru to 15. Santaguito to 14. Suanos Hima puffing and passing. 6,000 foot puff. Sangay to 24,000. Sabankai to 22,000. Shishalden coming on the list with no identifiable ash. So maybe it's not on the list. Abeco puffing to 10,000. Reventador possible ash. Etna, following the latest lava fountaining, we saw some new cones in the crater. Suanosima to 4,000 feet. Dempo, holy macaroni. Eruption was reported today. Ebo to 8,000. Fuego, possible ash. And that wraps up the list for worldwide volcano news. Sapphires. Well, it's been an enigma for geologists for decades. And a new paper coming out shows that sapphires form inside the fiery hearts of volcanoes, not deep in the mantle like we once thought. A new study of sapphires found in volcanic fields in Germany reveals that these beautiful blue stones, which are sought after worldwide, form where magma and rocks from the Earth's crust mix. What a Twix. Brilliant blue sapphires look like bits of the sky brought down to Earth. but a new study finds these gemstones are from a different boundary, the one between the planet's crust and magma welling up from the mantle, Earth's middle layer. Sapphires have been thought to form in the mantle itself or in the lower sections of the crust, according to senior author Alex Schmidt, a geologist at Curtin University in Australia, who conducted the work while at Heidelberg University in Germany, and he told Live Science. But the new research finds that instead, sapphires are born higher in the crust, in the hearts of volcanoes, where magma rises to only about 3 miles or 5 kilometers below the surface. What a breakthrough study, and science is still happening on Earth. Space weather update. AR-377 produced an M5.2 solar flare today, and this is the latest event associated with a Type 2 radio emission with an estimated velocity of 792 kilometers per second. Coronagraph imagery showed that there are coronal mass ejections headed our way, and this one, which is right here, is certainly headed our way. Another flare just occurred now. No update on that. Let's refresh this. We've been producing the show, so we don't know what's going on right now. But we did have a low-level flare. It's not up here at Solarham. But this moderate duration M5.2 solar flare did produce a coronal mass ejection, which is headed our way. Take a look. Right here, right as the end of the 7th, beginning of the 8th, that baby shot out. Looks like a glancing blow, end of the 9th and the 10th, which is good news for us. This could be great news for aurora watchers. Currently, the aurora forecast is pathetic, but on the night of the 9th, which will be Friday night into Saturday morning, we could see quite the show. Ho, ho, ho. Let that run through. Guys, if you don't follow us on X, formerly Twitter, please, we implore you all to come over here to Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave and get up to speed. We want to get up to 100,000 followers in the next year, which is probably impossible, but we do have goals. Unlike Boeing, which has no goals except failure, the Boeing Starliner astronauts have now been in space more than 60 days. Yeah, that is 53 days longer than expected, with no end in sight. And it's looking like Elon Musk might have to save these astronauts, but it might not happen until next year. Holy macaroni. The hottest ocean temperatures in 400 years are an existential threat to the Great Barrier Reef, according to a new report. Researchers say coral analysis shows recent extreme temperatures would not have happened without you and CO2 and greenhouse gases. It's all your fault, and pay your taxes. But the existential threat is not you. It's the mainstream media. They have no wherewithal to even fact check their gobbledygook and their garbage and their sharticles. The Great Barrier Reef has never been better. In fact, in 2016, it started peaking, and from 2019 through 2024, the Great Barrier Reef has recovered. In a way, it has more coral cover than ever reported in modern times since the beginning of investigation. So what is the existential threat? Yes, retards. And speaking of retarded, almost 500 chemicals are found in England's rivers and groundwater, and they want to tax you for plant food, CO2, and they could care less about what you're drinking that's making you, well, potentially retarded.
I'm retarded?
And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned and we don't care. We need you guys out there listening to share the video and to help share the message. We love each and every one of you. Be safe, and that's a boom.